I say I'm nasty, I mean I'm nasty like I want you to come home from work and whip that thing out and put it right in my mouth. I don't care if you've been working out in the sun all day and you got a little salt on it. Have you ever ate a good steak without seasoning? Me neither. My idea of a perfect date is us going to dinner, me wearing my sundress with nothing underneath it, and you give me that little 2-finger pop underneath the table, and we pretend like nothing's even happening. So if you're not cool like that, then please don't ask me out on a date. And if we're talking and you're not willing to put the grossest parts of your body inside the grossest parts of my body, then baby, we're just not gonna work out. And if you tell me to sit on your face, I'm sitting all the way down. I'll get up and twerk here and there so that you can breathe a little bit, but then I'll be taking my seat back. And if you're my man, it doesn't take much to please me as your woman. Make me laugh and come in my front door and my back door every single night, and I'll be the happiest woman alive.
Wow.
Cover her front door and her back door every
The
night.
front and the back every night.
And put your salty balls in her mouth.
Hey, that's my kind of woman.
See, that's what I'm saying. We can't compete with that. Like, they willing to do.
So you don't think black women can compete with that?
I believe, if a woman truly listen, this is what I always tell men. When a woman truly wants when a woman truly wants a man, he can get her to do almost anything that he wants her to do. Now, a lot of women will sit and say, nah. Listen, if men are able to talk women into selling their bodies and bringing them the money, please don't tell me people think that ability has gone away. If a woman truly loves that man and desires that man, she will almost do anything that man asks her to do sexually. So she may come into the relationship saying, I don't do this. I've never did this. I ain't gonna do this. But let you be that guy, and the guy she really want to be with, all that shit go out the window. She'll do whatever you ask her to do, any way you ask her to do it. And if she's never do it, she'll be down to try it. Now, she may try it and not like it again, but because it pleases you, she'll continue to do it. Women by nature are pleasers. We want to make the the object of our affection happy. We want to please them. We want to be liked. We want to be adored. So with wanting to get all that from a man, we have certain things we got to give up. So therefore, when you are that guy, she will do it. So we can sit all day and say, oh, I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. I ain't going to do that. Honey, you just ain't met the man that you're willing to do it for.
Do you think there's do you distinguish between being freaky and nasty? Is there a difference?
Um, some people say it is. I think it's just a way that we label it. Freaky, and it just depends on who you're talking to. Because some people think freaky is worse than nasty. Some people think nasty is worse than freaky. So it just depends on who you talking to and how they view what they want to label. Some people you can take and put certain things under a category, and they might view all those things as nasty. So you may say freaky is oral sex, whereas back in the days, oral sex wasn't as prevalent in some communities and nationalities. So they would say, okay, oral sex is freaky. Then some people, if they were old people, traditional old people, they would say oral sex was nasty. So it just depends on what you label underneath the umbrella of freaky and nasty, and which category would you put certain things under. So, some people say anal is nasty. Some people say that's freaky. Now, some people say oral is just a part of sex. So it just depends on who you're talking to and what audience. But yeah, they try to, distinguish the difference between the two. And then they put certain things under what category they want it to fall under and say, hey, are you nasty or are you freaky? And it just depends on what you label under each category, which determine which one a person is.
Do you
Yeah.
think certain ethnic groups are more freakier than others?
Um, yeah. I do. I think because of the exposure, if you look back in history in time, you look back in the Roman days, if you've ever seen, they were doing a lot of things that had not been brought into, the black communities or other communities. There were a lot of different exposures happening um before it got trickled down. It's just like things that happen on the West Coast and then they eventually make it to the South. It's the same way with sex. Things happen because these were the world travelers. They were able to get around and experience all these different cultures, and then they brought this stuff back to America, and then it trickles down. And it also, when we start crossing over, and because back in the days it was taboo for a black man to lay with a white woman, or so with that being said, the black woman didn't learn until the black man brought it home, or until the white man made her do these things. So it was a crossover. We didn't know these things. So these things were brought to us sexually. And so when they're introduced, then they become, a part of what we do. Some people don't do it, some people do. But I think I think it's different for different societies, because a lot of people say that Oriental women are more freakier or nastier than American women, that they have all these parlors and, men going in and they'll do all kinds of things. I saw a video where they was coming to China, telling men, and they was welcoming the men over there because they needed to populate their society. And the lady had the women standing there and she said, "We suck, we duck, we duck." She was just going off of all the things you could get as a man. And the
Yeah.
men were just coming through the door. And she was like, "Pick one." They do it all. So, you know, and I'm sure
What
there's
about a
some
woman?
reserved societies where they don't.
What about a woman that? Do you consider a woman that want to have sex all the time freaky, or it depend? Or
No,
Mm.
no, I don't. I think that it just depends on a woman's sexual appetite. She doesn't have to be freaky. She could just want sex. I think freaky um goes beyond doing normal sexual activities. I think that's when you bring in other things into the bedroom, or willing to try different things in the bedroom. But just to want to have sex all the time, some people say those women are nymphomaniacs or stuff like that. But I mean, some women just like to have sex all the time. And also the human body and hormones kind of change. As women tend to age, women tend to desire sex a little more. Whereas when women are younger, sex is really not that important to them. They usually use sex to get something out of the man, or because they like the man, a way of showing affection. But as you get older and mature, you looking for gratification for yourself. You understand there's something in it for you, that you get a feeling, you turned on. And then there's some young women that's just straight out the box. When they just start developing, they just want to have sex all the time. I don't know if it's a mental thing, it's a physical condition, definitely, but they just like to have sex, and so they just out there, having sex with all the men in the neighborhood. So yeah, some women just like to have it.